Hey guys, it's Vitaly again with Energy One Electric, and it's that time of year again, beginning of December. If you haven't already, then you're probably thinking of hanging up some Christmas lights very soon. And I just want to show you, before you do that, I want to show you another option, and that is permanent Christmas lights. So you can kind of see in the background here, it kind of looks like white stitches all along the fascia of the house over here. Okay, these are permanent Christmas lights. I don't have to install them and take them down every year. I did it once and they stay. Okay, so I went and turned on the lights. You'll have to excuse me if the video is a little bit shaky because it's minus 20 Celsius right now outside, so it's a little bit cold. I turned on the lights. I don't know if you can see it well, but it's the middle of the day right now. It's just past noon, I think. And I've got these lights cycling between red, white, and green. And they're at 100% brightness right now. So this is daytime, so you can see they're actually pretty bright. And at nighttime, I actually turn them down to 25% brightness, just because, you know, I don't want them to be too bright. It kind of shines in the kids' bedroom a little bit, the way it's set up. So I wanted to give you an idea of how I wire these lights, okay, or how I set them up. So in the very corner here, not far from that pot light, you can see there's a soffit plug, and inside the soffit I have a driver controller, a 12-volt driver. So from there I have the lights, I have one string kind of going this way down the side of the garage, and I have the other string going this way along here, and then kind of maybe a third of the way up this gable over here. So I connected them in parallel. LEDs, if you 12-volt LEDs, I mean, if you go over like 5 meters or 16 feet or whatever, then they're gonna dim towards the end. So what I did is connected in parallel. So I send one string here, and there's no dimming. Then if I walk over here, you can probably hear the snow crunching under my boots. So you can see right there in the corner, there's another soffit plug next to that pot light. I've got one string kind of coming up here and up that gable. And then I have the next string, same thing, they're connected in parallel. Next string going this way, and I think it probably ends right at that window on the left side there. And then I have another one just behind that left column. Going up the stairs, there's another string up there, or another soffit plug, and the strings go left this way, and they come up and hit both of those gables up there. Okay, so I've shown you what the lights look like outside, installed on the house. Now I'm going to film the rest of the video inside my garage, where it's a lot warmer because it hurts to be outside right now. These are what these LED modules look like, okay, up close. So I want to kind of go over a few pros and cons of these. Number one, they are LED 12 volts, so it's lower power consumption. Each of these little modules is 1.5 watts. So you're looking at about 45 watts per string. So just to give you an idea, like my house is pretty long, like with the garage and the house itself. I've got 6 of these strings installed, about 6, maybe 6.5. So 6 strings, that's 270 watts. So just to, I guess, give you an idea, one 15 amp circuit loaded to 80% is allowed 1440 watts, okay? My entire Christmas light or holiday light takes up only 270 watts. So I've got another thing, a pro, you can get these modules in black or white. Not everybody has black fascia like I do. A lot of people have white or maybe some other colors. So these white modules might be pretty good for that. These modules come in RGB, which is the multicolor ones, or single color. So you can get like just red, you can get just blue, just white. So these are RGB. You can see these different wires on them. So you've got the red, green, blue RGB, and then you have your black common, which is your power wire that carries the power from one string to another, or from one module to another. Another pro, you install these once, and I don't want to say it's there forever, but a lot longer. Obviously nothing lasts forever, but you install it one time and you don't have to take these strings off every year and reinstall them and that kind of stuff. So it'll take you a little bit longer, but you're going to do it one time and it stays there. Another thing, these LED modules they're good for all weather. I don't remember the IP rating on them, but they are made for outdoors. So this is the second winter that I have them on. Just a few days ago, it's been about close to minus 30 Celsius. These strings worked, turned on, no issues. So they do work in extreme cold. And one huge thing, huge pro in my opinion, is you can set these up on a Wi-Fi controller. So the simplest thing you can do is I've got a driver up in my soffit, converts from 120 volt down to 12 volt, which these are powered on. On my house, I set them up on a Wi-Fi controller that I found. It's a Wi-Fi / Bluetooth controller. I don't have an actual controller that I can show you, but I'll show you a picture of what it looks like, at least the ones that I bought. But basically, I have an app on my phone called Smart Life, and I just basically, like, you can change colors of your lights, you can change what they call scenes. So you can have like a breathe effect, you can have kind of like a blinking effect, and you can change which color. Like I showed you mine, they transition from a green to a red. I want to call these holiday lights, not just Christmas lights, because you can use them, you can turn them on Canada Day, July 1st, red and white. You can turn them on July 4th, Independence Day, make the colors red, white, and blue. You can turn it on any holiday or just any day of the year. The bad thing about these LED modules, or I guess the cons about them, it's going to take you a little bit longer to install it. Regular Christmas lights, you just kind of install some clips, you hang them, and you plug it in. These ones, it's going to take a bit longer. So each module, it has, you can see the red on the back of it. That's just like a little sticky tab. You pull off the red little paper or whatever, and you can stick it to your fascia. And then each module also has a hole, okay? So every second module I screwed in because I want them to be up there and not, if it gets really cold, I don't want the stickiness to kind of, fall off, whatever. So every second one, I got these little, I think these are siding screws or soffit screws or whatever. I put these in, they fit in the hole. They're pretty small. I think it's maybe about a ½ inch or so long. Okay, you can get them in black, white, whatever color of module you buy. Like you can match the color of the screw. So basically you can set it up this way. It does take longer to install. You got to wire up a driver. If you're using a Wi-Fi controller, like all of this stuff has to be wired up, but you're going to do it one time and it's going to last you for years. Like you don't really have to go back up anymore every year to install it and take it down again. So that's it's kind of a negative, but it's also a positive that it takes longer, but you're going to do it one time and get it over with. Another thing, I guess it's a con. If one of these modules fails, if it stops working or whatever, like let's say it begins to flicker or something, you do need to change. It'll take you a little more work to change it than just changing out a little light bulb. But basically what you can do is you have these, you have the wires connecting between these modules. So basically you could just cut it right here on one side, cut it on the other side here, and just pull out one module and replace it with another one, and then you'll just have to connect them. So what I did to connect mine is I use these little, I don't know, it's called cold seal. It's like these little butt splice connectors. So they got this kind of sealant inside of it. I don't know if you can see it, but basically it's supposed to protect the wire kind of from the weather, make it waterproof or whatever. So now I've told you the pros and cons of these. I guess you can make a more informed decision if you want to install these, but now I want to show you how to install them, how to wire them up. Now obviously mine are already done. They've been up for a couple of years. I've done these same lights on some show homes for some larger builders. I've done it on some other homes for some of my customers, and I'm just going to kind of show you in my garage here, just to kind of how to wire it up, give you a good idea, and then you can do it on your own house. The lack of having an actual job site to install these on, I'm just going to show you the basic installation technique here right inside my garage. So I'm just going to pretend my shelving here, I'm going to pretend this is the fascia of my house right here, and then I don't want any lights over here, and let's just say this is a gable. So I'm going to install a string of lights on my fascia, and then I want the lit up portion continued on my gable here. I'm going to install a section onto my fascia. I'm not actually going to take the sticky back off because these are kind of my replacement lights. If anything ever happens, I've got a few to replace with. Okay, you install these along the front of your fascia. You install these along your gable. Now, depending on your layout, you know, the layout of your house, you might just have just like a single continuous length, right? But if you've got something like my house where you've got like multiple gables and kind of breaks in the fascia and that kind of stuff, if you don't want to do just like one continuous, and you could just kind of install these modules wherever you want them. So I want this lit up with this guy here, but I'm basically just going to connect this portion with a wire. Okay, you're going to want some kind of a low voltage wire to connect from your gable to your fascia over here. I guess technically they're both fascias, but let's say the lower roof line and the upper roof line. So I've got this red, it's a low voltage fire alarm cable that I use. It's sunlight resistant. It'd be nice to have something that's rated for outdoor, you know, sunlight resistant. This is a 3-wire, but you actually need a 4-wire if you're using these RGB ones like I have here. This has 4 wires. I need something that has 4 wires. But the idea is you're just going to strip these. You're going to strip these, and then you're going to take those cold seal or whatever, these butt splice connectors. So to connect these strings, you're going to take one of these modules. Let's just say it's this string up here. Okay, separate them, strip them. Okay, all 4. Once you have these stripped, you're going to take this butt splice connector, these weatherproof ones, put one on each wire, and on the other side of it, because this is double-ended, on the other side you're going to put your low voltage wire. Same thing, if there's 4 wires in here, you're going to try to match up the colors. If the colors in here don't match this, then just remember how you did it, because they need to be the same on both ends. So it's got to be the same on this end as it is on this end. The colors have to match up, so just remember which colors you substituted with. Okay, so I have my demonstration kind of all ready to go. I'll kind of do a walkthrough again with you. So this power supply is a 12-volt power supply because these are 12-volt LED modules, okay? So this is plugged into my soffit plug, for example, up in my soffit, okay? It feeds 12 volt to my RGB controller. So this is not the Wi-Fi controller that I was telling you about, but this is just another RGB controller that you need to have between here and here for this to work, right? Because it's got 4 wires, and we need to be able to control the color changing features of this. So this will be your Wi-Fi controller, and then I've got these all installed here. I didn't have a single 4-wire, so what I did is I just used two wires, okay? So I've got my red and black matching down on this side, and then my second cable I've got my red to green and my black to blue, and as long as it matches on this side also, as long as they're the same, it's going to work. So I'm going to show you this. I'm going to power these up, and you can see it's set to blue. I can change this to green. I can change it to yellow, kind of red, orange sort of, okay? So this is how your outdoor holiday lights will work. except it'll be on like a Wi-Fi controller, which you can just make it work from an app on your phone. One thing I do want to caution is if you find your lights kind of are not matching, like let's say one is a little bit flickering or whatever, check your connections. I just want to show you. So if one of these connections is loose, I'm going to just kind of loosen this guy up. Okay. Now you'll see the upper one, your high roof, for example, is kind of like this aqua color, and this one's kind of like a purple color, okay? And that's because, check this out, if I set it to red, that one goes to red, and this one goes to red, okay? Yellow, the upper is yellow, the bottom is orange. Just because one of the wires is loose, in this case, like they're not connected at all, you see that? So now it's causing everything from here to malfunction, okay? So just make sure if they're not matching up, if something's wrong, check your connections, make sure they're nice and tight, because sometimes you put the wire nut on and it looks like it's in, but then when you look closer, it's actually one wire is just kind of slightly sticking out, not actually connected. Inside the soffit, I have my driver, I have my Wi-Fi controller, and that's where all the connections are made, to one string going down the side of the garage to the next string going this way. And I just wanted to show you, so this is all continuous here, okay? And then I don't have any continuous lights running up the wall. Instead I have just a wire, and I made my connection, and then it kind of continues again from the gable side. So that's what I wanted. I didn't want any lights kind of going up and sort of hanging there in midair. I just wanted to end at this little, whatever this is called, pigeon rest or whatever the framers call this section here. And then I wanted it to continue up on that gable so it looks nice and clean. Same thing on this end. You can see the string is continuous this way. It ends right there, continues up there. So you're gonna have to find a good way to hide your wires as much as possible. I kind of stuck mine behind the gutters. And okay guys, hopefully I explained this as clearly as possible without actually installing it on my house. I know we did a little kind of mock-up here. Hopefully that helped. One thing I wanted to mention, if you need help choosing the proper size power supply, so like I said before, each one of these white pieces here takes 1.5 watts. It says it right on there. So just count how many of these you have per string times the number of strings you use, and then divide that number. So your total wattage, let's say it was about like my house, let's say 270 watts. You're going to divide that by 0.8, and that new number, that's how big your power supply needs to be. So your power supply should only be loaded up to 80%, okay? So 270 divided by 0.8, for example, and I don't know what it is, but let's just say 300. You'll need to choose a power supply that's 300 watts. In a case like mine, where I have 3 separate power supplies, times 2 strings, so I'm just gonna count up how many watts those 2 strings take, divide that by 0.8, and I've got my power supply wattage. I'm gonna post a link to the Wi-Fi controller in the video description. You can check that out, purchase the same one if you want. I've bought many of them, they work, so there's no issues with those. If you want to buy the same ones, I recommend you can do that. I don't know if I can find a link to these LED modules because I bought them locally at a supplier here. I know they do sell them online. I haven't bought mine online, so I can't really recommend one. I don't want you to get some crappy one, so basically just choose something. Just one more thing, if you found this video helpful, if you want to leave a comment, if there's any questions, if you found it helpful, like and subscribe to my channel.